AfterBuzzers, welcome to another Shameless After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. Today, all the Gallaghers band together, and we get the central question. Was Ian off his meds or not? Plus other storylines. Stay tuned as we discuss.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Not only are the Gallaghers back in unison, our entire panel is here. JJ Jurgens.
Hey, everybody!
Juliet, Vibert.
Hey, what's up?
And Hayley Clover.
Hello, everybody.
Excited to be here. Lots to discuss today. Obviously, we're going to break down all the various plot lines and so many to discuss there. Plus, we're going to talk about some fun news and gossip, and we've got some trivia for you. Now, unlike last time, we will not be participating in the trivia. We will be giving you the trivia.
JJ's a cheater.
Sorry, guys. I just got so excited.
Well, you know what? Haley also read today's trivia.
I cheated also. All right. Throw me under the bus.
I did not cheat. I just want that to be known.
Well, the good news is
And I
because
won
I know
last
you guys
time.
are cheaters like the Gallaghers, I was like,
Anything to get ahead,
I'm gonna
Phil.
switch it
Anything
up.
to get ahead.
All right. Before we dive into any of it, though, I want to get from you guys, what did you think of tonight's episode? The follow. 101.
101.
101. I enjoyed
Lost
it.
for words?
There were answers that I wanted that I got tonight, which was good. And I was happy to see like some of those storylines progress and kind of get to the end of where they were going. And then there's some other storylines starting that I was kind of like, why? Why are we going in that direction? So I have mixed emotions, I guess, about tonight's episode.
Fair enough. Juliet.
I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's actually one of my favorites from the season so far. Really, really strong. I was laughing a lot, and it was emotional. So I'm all in.
I gotta say, I'm same as Haley this time. There was things that I really liked about it, and then there was some storylines too that I didn't want to see happening and wasn't that excited about. But overall, still good.
Fair enough. Yeah, I thought Ian is going to be our big storyline tonight, along with Fiona, and that to me, I was very interested in. But I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but I'm going to start with two of the, to me, smaller storylines. Liam and Carl. Now, I grouped these guys together because they could have had quite separate storylines. In particular, Carl, like him almost, quote, raping a girl at a party where he's supposed to, this is like, I don't know what it fully is, but it's a cocktail party for West Point, right? So, you know, he's going to be judged one way or the other.
Right.
And then it doesn't go that way, and it's basically a pregnancy scare for both of them in some sense.
These are the two storylines that I did not like. The rest of the episode I did, but these were the two that I didn't want to see some girl taking advantage of poor little Liam and like saying she was pregnant and all that. And then both of the girls being crazy too. I was just like, come on, can they not find not a crazy girl for the Gallagher boys? Like I just thought we've had a lot of crazy, you know. So
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look at their mom, you know, so it's messed up, and that's always going to be a pattern within the Gallagher men. So Carl,
attracts crazy.
Yeah, Carl, I was kind of upset because I'm like, you should know better by now. You're supposed to be at this event to network and to prove that you are worthy of this new chapter that you're walking into. Liam, not his fault. He's really young. He honestly thought he was going to get beat up, and I mean, that kind of gave me a little bit of rapey vibes, if we're being completely honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing because there's no way that he knew what was going on when he went into that, like, janitor's closet because he was scared shitless. And then all I'm thinking is, oh, God, after when we found out they had sex, I was like, she totally just, like, ripped his pants off and, like, made him do it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, God, poor little Liam. I just love Liam so much, and I want him to get...
Yeah, it's not
And
what I
he's like
wanted for the
10.
first time.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Holy shit, he's young.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't even think he, like, squirts anything.
That's why I thought it was
Well,
funny.
I don't know how that anatomy works. But I think it does work when you're young. I think that's just something you always have, Phil.
I don't know, Phil, when was the first time you squirted?
Into somebody,
brought it
not
up.
just, or
You
like
brought it up.
with somebody, not just on your
I
own.
don't think that young, number one. Number two, even there, you know, as they're consulting Debbie.
I think he's avoiding.
Yeah, 100%. Have we not seen this on past after shows?
Where he just
Even
deflect. Don't talk about my penis.
Okay, well, the one moment of this, of kind of both storylines I did like is Deb's Carl and Liam all being like strategizing, and they turn to Debs of, that's how it works, right? Like it doesn't work. She can't be pregnant yet.
Today. Yeah.
So even if he does squirt, she can't be pregnant yet.
I will say we don't actually, I guess, know if they had sex because they ask him if he knows he had sex, and he goes, no. Which was really funny. So maybe
Are
they
you
didn't.
sure?
He doesn't
He's
know.
like, no, I'm not.
I think that was for verbal. I don't know. I took that as, I don't know. Like she was within earshot, so him nodding yes is like, yes, we did. But if she hears me, I want her to hear no.
Oh,
I don't think so. I think he's very confused.
I was confused
Me too, because obviously she is saying that they did because she walks in and says, I'm pregnant and you're the dad. So I think she's like assuming and announcing to everyone that they had sex.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy.
That's good.
So I guess the last part of this is the girl comes back for Carl. Mm-hmm. No, do we have another Cassidy type?
Well, yes, but in a totally different way because Cassidy is like absolutely insane, but she's a stage 5 clinger where I think this girl is going to like play super hard to get and then be really, then she's going to be so hot and cold is kind of what I think is going to happen with her, but...
Maybe, but she does remind me a lot about her, and I want him to find someone else. Because he's just, again, this pattern of going for crazy. No.
Do we think that she helps his relationship now going to West Point, though, because her dad's clearly some, like, high-ranking officer?
I was afraid that she was just going to hurt it, but I mean, now that she came back, I guess she could help. But yeah, to me, way too much like Cassie, right?
Yeah.
Cassie.
Yeah, and
he should be smart enough and like see this and know that like he decided. We thought last week after he shot the guy, that he knew that this is what he wanted to do and this is what he was going to go for. So I think to get in that situation, even in that room at all, and just. No.
But kudos to him for filming it.
Yes, that was smart. Yes,
I
he was
do
going to be in there.
I do have to say, I think what bothered me the most about this is that it seemed like a storyline we have seen numerous times at this point. So I'm hoping that you're right, Hayley, and that there's this hot and cold situation or something more exciting, because another crazy, for lack of a better term, girlfriend like this, I've seen it too many
Right,
times.
and especially with him, too. It's just very redundant. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so this perhaps might be a redundant storyline, perhaps not, depends on your viewpoint, but Lip sort of, I don't know, he's always been kept busy, or so the show is trying to show, and now that he doesn't have Zan, now that apparently there's a day off at work, he has no clue what to do with himself.
Yeah, this was one of the storylines that I didn't enjoy just because of how the episode ended. I don't mind that Zan is not in the picture anymore because I don't necessarily think that was like the best move for him anyway. But seeing him get into street racing on these, super dangerous crotch rockets, I was like, no, because that type of adrenaline and competition, I think, could get him back into his bad habits of drinking and everything, and I just don't think it's going to end well for Lip, so...
Yeah. I would have liked to see Lip read. He used to read a lot, and he didn't, when you're busy, you don't have time to be depressed. And I think this is what this storyline was trying to show, is that he's been so consumed with the whole motorcycle business that, he hasn't had time to really be alone, and that's when it hits him. But again, I want to see, he should have opened a book up. That would have knocked some time out.
Or knocked out the dishes.
Yes, thank you. That was my line, but thank you.
Well, he tried. He was gonna, it looked like, and then he found something in that mug.
Yeah.
And
he
then
wasn't
was like,
going to try. He was looking for a mug for his coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he went for a run. The next logical step in that equation.
But exactly to my point again, you just clean this damn house. That would take you the whole day. It'd be so good for
But it's
everyone.
It'd be messy again in 3 seconds.
That's true, but it'd be like a healthy thing to do.
right.
But he's going from one to the next, so he does TV. That's supposed to be kind of a laid-back thing. You can't do that. Okay, coffee, maybe that'll perk him up. No. Okay, go for a run. No. All right, smoke a crap ton of cigarettes while also enjoying a hot bath eventually.
Well, and it killed me, too, that he was too proud to go with Carl to his thing because he had nothing else to do. He could have easily went with Carl as a support system, too. Because I'm pretty sure Carl asked him, right? And then he said, no, I've got a bunch of stuff that I need to get done.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like in the way Carl asked him, it seemed like, again, for lack of a better term, out of pity. He just felt bad for him, and I think that although, yes, maybe not the best thing for him, it was a brotherly thing to do. I don't think it was his place to be there. He would have been out of place, and
he would have
He wouldn't have
prevented
ended up
Carl.
with that girl. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. But again, as we're learning through the season, they're all getting older and they all have to kind of make their own way. And I think he didn't need his brother in that situation.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad ultimately that Lip, like as much as you guys were worried about him going back to drinking, I think there's other ways to fill that, and I think adrenaline was going to be that for him.
And pie.
Yeah.
And lots of pie.
Pie didn't do it this time around, although that is good pie at Patsy's Pie.
Yeah.
Man.
Looked like a key lime.
Yeah, he did. They really zoomed in
Yeah.
on this episode. We all stopped. We're like, ooh, yum.
He'd go for some dessert, yeah.
But it'll be interesting. There's a seed planted today where he can make a lot of money keeping people sober.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that ends
Which
up.
I do think that could be a really funny storyline. And especially, we'll talk about it in a little bit, I know. But especially who we know he's going to be helping, so.
Yes, indeed. All right. So let's talk about Deb's lesbianism. There's no right or wrong way to be a lesbian, according to the lesbians that
Is that a
live at
real
Fiona.
word?
What, lesbians? Yes, it is.
Lesbianism.
I think
Sure it
so.
is.
It is now. Just like, what was it, FOMO?
What does it specifically mean?
I don't. It means the level of your lesbianism.
Like the level of your
look it up.
intelligence on lesbian types of things?
How committed you are to the
Because
the
that's why I
monogamous
loved how that whole storyline ended.
Lesbianism is the sexual and romantic desire between females. There are far fewer historical mentions of lesbianism than male homosexuality due to the many historical writings and records focused mainly on men. This was a definition from Wikipedia. The history
The most trusted source online.
Yes,
For sure
history
it is.
of
Lesbianism.
Lebanese.
Lebaneseism.
Yep.
All right,
Okay,
well, let's
thank
talk
you.
about how it
No,
applies to.
Because I didn't know, so I'm sorry if that's like rude.
So now
but I
we've
just didn't know.
confirmed that it's a thing.
Lesbianism is a thing.
Yes.
Okay.
I liked Debs in the storyline because I liked that I thought Alex was completely annoying and, going through every girlfriend since the second grade, and I liked Debs being a smartass and kind of just, telling her that,
F off.
Yeah, saying that, you make me want cock again. I liked it. So I'm glad that hopefully that relationship is kind of over, and it's going to be kind of fun to see her wherever she explores from here on.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Is it over?
I don't think lesbianism is over. I think we're gonna try and give that maybe another shot or two, or we'll keep it open. But I think that the Alex door is closed.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Which is a
too.
good thing if you ask me. She definitely has some issues. Like, look
Yeah.
at this crazy pattern that you've been having since the second grade.
Well, and
Yeah,
also the fact that
agreed.
she's just holding a grudge from people from the second grade who clearly don't know what's going on. Like they didn't realize they were doing anything wrong.
What?
It's the second grade.
And she talks about her exes for 8 hours. I don't care if you're straight or lesbian or whatever. Like, you don't sit with somebody else and talk about your exes for 8 hours.
Yeah.
No.
Oh God, that sounds like torture.
She was tortured.
Issue.
yeah.
I couldn't even talk for that much time. Like, no. How can you?
It's so true.
Too much. However, that door may be closed. Is another one literally about to open with our two lesbians? And
I was glad that they were back. I actually really liked their cameo. And like we had talked about, we saw the baby, which was cute because she was pregnant last season, and I thought it was fun. You didn't even recognize.
it took me a moment. She got the new hair. We hadn't seen them all season. It took me just by surprise. I recognized kind of who they were, but I was like, wait, is that the same actress?
Yeah, it totally is. She's just bleached blonde now.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah,
taken
I enjoyed
aback.
that cameo.
Get a baby. Get a makeover.
Well, but do we want this? Do we want this? Do we want
Do we
Deb's
want
come?
what? Deb to date to have a throuple?
Just
Is what
come
you're
back.
asking?
Nah, come get some.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna have any more, but I wouldn't mind seeing them in the show still a little bit.
Yeah,
Listen,
me too,
everyone
me
needs a
too.
mentor.
Yeah.
Well, it could maybe be that type of relationship,
I would see them as a mentor.
which
for
actually
sure.
could be really funny. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
same.
See? Yeah.
It could keep them busy. I'm sure they're having a baby. They're at home way more, and so it could be interesting to like, mentor this young lady into her sexual awakening.
Well, and like Debbie said, the babies can have play dates, and then she'll take lesbianism classes from them.
Yeah. See, this
There
is
you
a
go,
wonderful,
win-win.
Babysitting for lesbianism tips.
This is a wonderful thing. Speaking of more wonderful things, dear fans, we are now on Spotify. A lot of
This is
you,
so exciting.
indeed, a lot of you listen to music on Spotify, but now you can listen to something else great on Spotify, and that is, of course, this show. So if you're listening to this show, you're already listening to it, but now, in a sense, if you have Spotify and maybe you have too many apps and you want to get rid of an app because you need to take photos and you don't have all the space for all the various apps that you need in your life, now you can get rid of one and just listen on Spotify. It's so much easier. Not only is our show there, but all the rest of the AfterBuzz TV shows are there as well. Like South Park, another show I do. Anyway, shameless plug.
Yeah, is it going as well as you wanted it to this season?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you? You do the Real Housewives of something or other.
Of Orange County. It's on Monday nights. Mm-hmm.
And
Be
Tom
there, be
Girl's
square.
on there.
Yep, we're on Tuesday nights.
What about you, Juliet?
I do this show, and then I produce a lot of. I produce JJ's
Yes,
show.
she does.
I produce. I'm behind the camera.
All right.
You guys get to see
Behind
me
the
though, you
scenes
lucky
look.
bastards.
There you go. But the point is, we're all on Spotify. So we are still on the other platforms we always tout and mention, but now, in addition, we are on Spotify. So and especially like your friends that have been like, I don't want to get, but they got Spotify, nudge them now. Now you got to listen. So
Listen.
share the love. All right. Speaking of sharing the love, fuck men, right?
Yeah. We've been saying it forever.
This is the storyline that has come out of the Kev Vagina Safe chronicles, if we will. I don't know. Do we think this is good for Kev? Like, where's this headed? Do we like it? Do we not?
I think we kind of saw the end of a lot of it today, just when he realizes that his speech probably isn't actually going to be as impactful as he thought it was going to be. He was like all gung-ho about writing this speech and ending it with hashtag, Me Too and Time's Up. And then when he heard all of these women's stories, which were awful, and them saying, at 14 I was raped and whatever, he's like, holy crap, like, I can't possibly give a speech. I won't do any good, but I would like to hug them. And then, that whole exchange was cute when he realized it was an issue and he could be better as a man, but, that he didn't really need to go much further than that.
I think I don't want this to be over because, yes, although maybe his speech won't be as impactful as a survivor speaking out, he, is making a lot of difference within the bar community. The three people who come over, he's educating a lot of people, and I want to see more of that. Just because you can't be the ultimate voice doesn't mean that you cannot be a very impactful voice.
Sure.
And I think his speech really should, and when he first started this, he really was about this idea that, I don't understand. And I think that's what his speech needs to be. Like, you just heard all the evidence you essentially need, and, there's more stories to tell. And I need to hear those stories just like you need to hear those stories.
Mm-hmm. Right, and even when V and the other, little cameo of the woman at the bar were talking about how they had been sexually assaulted, the girl, someone pulled my shirt down and licked my nipple the other day, and I didn't even know them, like, all of those things. The guy that dropped something and put his nose, like, right in V's crotch. Those types of things, like, every female watching, maybe not to that extent, has dealt with some bullshit like that. Mm-hmm. So it's good that they're, bringing it to light and just, playing around with that storyline a little bit.
I haven't heard from you, JJ.
No, I mean, I thought it was a really sweet moment. I was actually glad that Kev didn't. I mean, I would have liked to hear a speech, but I loved the moment when he was in the bed and he was just there with his two girls, and I felt like it was kind of real, kind of serious, heartfelt moment that we don't see a lot of. That he just was realizing the impact of what he just heard from all those women, and just wanted to be close with his daughters and his wife, and just kind of realizing that maybe he didn't really think about how bad it really was for women a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Kev represents still the innocent person, the innocent man. Yeah. He tries to do good, not always because he's not self-aware enough, but knowledge can be a double-edged sword. And he's a good person deep down. All right, speaking of not so good people, but Kev helping not so good people, Frank.
With his brown pee.
Yeah, that's
That was
not...
so gross.
Yeah,
What,
could
the
you
bathroom scene in
imagine?
particular?
Yeah.
If someone peed on me...
I've been peed on before, but not in that kind of pee, but...
Not in the sexual way, is that what you mean,
this
JJ?
is our Shameless Jurgens family. My brother, when I was a kid, I guess I have to say, because it wasn't a sexual golden shower.
Now
When
you
I
have
was
to
a
say
little
it, or else
kid,
people are going to think.
we had one bathroom, a lot like Shameless growing up, and so I was going to the bathroom in our family. We all had to share it, so people were in and out of the bathroom, and I'm going pee, and my brother comes in, and he's like, I gotta go, get up. I'm like, no, I'm going to the bathroom. He's like, no, I gotta go, get up. And I'm like, no, I'm here first. He whips it out, and he peed right in my face. Not kidding.
All right.
Jurgens, we're pretty classy.
Can I ask you how old you
Well, I had to be like early element because we moved out of that house when I was in 6th grade.
So very
I was
little.
probably like, I want to say like 2nd grade.
But it scarred
What
you
about
enough to
hands?
remember.
So he's 3 years older than me.
Okay. Well, he's
Old
a little-
enough to know that was
Yeah.
bad. Oh, God.
That would have put him in 5th. No, he was probably younger than that. He was probably like, yeah, probably he was probably.
These are the
2nd.
stories that
funny.
Kev needed to
There you
hear.
go.
So funny.
All right, well, just like that, yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
No, that's great. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing. I love that.
So, I mean, how do we feel about Frank's whole kind of political mantra now is that the poor are being kind of shamed because the only free thing out there is sex, and now they can't even have sex. And this is coming after, by the way, like the whole storyline of Mo White. He's won, but now he's wasted all the money. So, like,
Yeah.
there's the aftermath of that kind of just dissipated really fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we made some predictions that perhaps he'd go on to Washington with him, but no such luck.
Yeah, I thought we were quickly right back to old Frank. Like, he spent all the money on alcohol, and yeah, it's all gone. And just he's back and looking gross. And
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen his storyline progress in a totally different direction again, just because season 9, you know, like, we know old Frank, we love him. It's just, I'd like to see other sides of him still. If we're gonna, you know, keep these seasons going, I'd like there to be new stuff.
Well, speaking of scarred children, Liam, the fact he has to and he's like, a son should never have to see his father in this state.
Yeah, he tries to electrocute his testicles.
yeah.
For what purpose? Just to
To
just
revive
Try to,
them.
yeah, to try to revive his boner.
Here's
Shock
the thing.
therapy.
Without even having done it, it just sounds like
right.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, right. We can test it out
Oh my
Okay.
God, that
post show. Yeah,
And then
this
he,
was
Which, by okay,
and
I
he
just
burns his penis like, oh.
Yeah.
a crazy story.
okay. You know how like there's like electric shock and all that. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine imagine if he did all of a sudden touched a woman's vagina and it just like that must be like 3 times the electric shock.
I don't imagine that.
All right. Well, now you just did.
Right.
I mean, you know, there's a lot that happened with Frank. The poor girl tried to really help him out, despite you know not being able to get it up. But then he ends up in the hospital, and as we were watching, he's attracted to crazy, and that's the only
They
thing
all
that.
are. All these Gallagher men. He needed to have a woman on top of him, slap him, dry hump him, and slap him some more for him to have a boner.
And break his nose.
Although that woman, I would love to see Katie Seagal stay on the show more.
Yeah.
I love
She's
her,
beautiful.
and I don't know why I didn't think about that one. We didn't think about that one before, but she's a great, perfect guest star for the show, I
Yeah.
think.
I think we will see her a little more just in reports that she's a recurring guest star. So she will be in at least 2 episodes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but it's really exciting to me too because I was a huge fan of her from Sons of Anarchy. And she's just an awesome actress, so she'll play a good role.
Do we think this is a healthy relationship?
Oh, nothing Frank does at this
Well, I
point
think
has ever
she
been.
was in the hospital for mental health issues, so probably not. I don't think
Yeah,
they
it seems
usually.
drug related too.
Yeah, I don't think they usually strap you down in your hospital bed if you're, you know, just
A-okay.
ill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this to me was like the world's worst hospital, by the way.
Yeah.
You know?
Our shit's gone down in that
Yeah.
hospital. And
They're
do not give
overwhelmed.
him drugs. It's just written across the doctor's medical records.
Well, I'm sure that was Kevin V.
Oh, could have been.
Because remember they had that whole confrontation beforehand of like just, you know, it's about because he makes that quote unquote empowered speech, but V says like no, it's about choice and the right choice. That's what makes you a man, not your ability to like
Yeah.
get a boner essentially. Which good for her. Good speech there.
Yeah, I feel like it tied in well with the whole storyline that we heard earlier as well. I think that was my favorite quote of the episode.
Yeah, I agree. But we know Frank is not really all about choices.
Especially not the right ones.
Yeah. But someone struggling to make the right choices, Fiona. I feel like this whole season is all about her. Do I, for the greater good of the Gallaghers or for myself? And in the past, perhaps it's been that she does need to help the Gallaghers, whereas now it's, as they're pointing out, they don't really need her help. So the choice is no longer there. Like, it's already been made for Fiona.
Right. I think she struggles with that identity of not being a guardian or not being their mom, because then, she's always been used to chaos. So just having a building to kind of watch over and a steady job and a steady boyfriend is just so out of the ordinary for her that I just don't think she really knows how to handle it all.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I agree. I think she's struggling with that. I like the way this was handled a lot because I had a feeling that this might be Ford just might be done with her. And I thought for the relationship wise, I liked the way they both talked about it because I think he had every right to be pissed that she wasn't there because it was important to him and they had it for months and it has been this big thing. So for her to not show up for her partner again and put her family always before is a tough thing to swallow as the partner,
Right.
So I think that was we had a good battle or a good argument, but a good communication. So I think this was a good step, with the relationship and both compromising and coming together. I liked it.
Very true. Growing pains. I think what I like about this relationship is that although they do butt heads, and it's tough being in a relationship with someone who's so different than you, but I think it also has allowed them to both grow and see the other side of things, and they are ultimately making each other better, which is a great thing. She's pushing him to kind of be more in touch with, with other people, and there's a lot of relationships that he has kind of X'd off, and maybe that's not the best thing. And yes, maybe she cares a little bit too much about her family, so I feel like they're going to help each other find a happy medium.
Yeah.
What I appreciate, he didn't, as much as he wanted her to be there, he didn't ultimately blow up in the way that I thought he would, because, no offense, at the end of the day, it's an art show.
Yeah.
And so he's like, this was important to me, and he does go back on that. I get why you were trying to go
It's
out.
always more than just an art show, though, Phil.
What do you mean?
I mean, I get it, but it's not like he was going out.
He wasn't mad she didn't see the art in the gallery. He was mad that she, had planned this for months with him, and in a second, he's put on the back burner.
Yeah, he's second fiddle.
He's it had nothing to do with the art in the gallery.
All I'm saying is, imagine if he was getting honored for his life work with wood, or whatever. and
By
like
the
this
way,
is,
woodworkers are incredible, so...
No knock there, but you know what I'm saying. This is his lifetime achievement award, and she's not there to support him.
Right.
So it's a little bit different on those terms. And I don't mean to demean the art show in any way or his feelings towards it, but I think he recognized enough of not only her perspective, but that also yes, this was important to me, but at the end of the day, this wasn't end all be all.
For sure. And to that also, he hasn't been the most supportive boyfriend in the last few episodes. It's not like he was, running to her side to help her with any of her deals or asking her about how they went or straight up saying, I support you. It was more like, don't do that. So in that sense, I think just better communication overall would have fixed that situation.
Yeah. Well, they do make up, and where the surprise twist of the episode is the fact that Ian not only stayed, but what he says at the courtroom scene, which we'll talk about. But I want to kind of start there. Him and Fiona going at it. Overbearing of Fiona or not?
I don't think so. I think it's good for her to care. I think this was a very important matter. This would determine a huge factor in his life and all of their lives. I may be a little overbearing, but freaking understandable.
Yeah, I think if that was me and I was mom or guardian in that situation, I probably would have done the exact same thing.
I would have definitely put hands on that kid.
On the girl?
No,
on
on him.
Oh, okay.
On Ian.
I mean, it's like you want to shake him and just say, what the F are you doing?
Yeah.
This is literally the only choice. You want to go to jail for 2... You know you're going to jail. You want to go to jail for 2 years, or you want to go to jail for 10 years, and it shouldn't even be a question. Yeah, totally.
And wasn't it? Didn't she call herself Mary Magdalene? The other girl, like, I would have had a problem with her too. Like,
oh well, that one. Fiona was about to kill a bee.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem was that she just needs to guide these guys there rather than just say this is what you're doing. Especially for someone like Ian, who right now has been slow in kind of figuring this out. And if you just let him kind of process it a little bit and work with him, I think she would have had better results from the get-go. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's good that he did, kind of the right thing. He saw answers from everybody. He heard everyone's perspective, including Mr. Milkovich's, which I thought, in that moment, I thought we were losing 2 Gallaghers. I thought, we're going to lose Fiona at the end, and oh my God, is Ian going to see Mickey? And the fans get what they want, but now we lose Ian forever.
Yeah, I thought that too, but nope.
Yeah, so that was my fan fiction of the.
I would have been okay with that, I guess, if this was the last season.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it end like that,
Yeah,
actually.
I wouldn't either.
Well, I'm glad that Ian owns up to his responsibilities, and he makes that choice to come back.
This was a typical Shameless monologue that just really gets you. It was, like you said, emotional, and he's such a good actor. Like, just watching him, you're just like, oh my God. And he said everything you wanted him to say. He meant to be doing this, but it just turned into something he didn't mean it to, and everything. And then just at the end, knowing it was gonna just make that one redhead so mad, and everyone that was there so mad, and he's just like, yep, I'm off my meds. We finally got the answer, and then boom, and it was just, it was a good monologue.
Well, even what's ironic, they're missing the point of his speech. Because as he says, the point was, this came from a place of love. And so it's not the fact that he's gay. It's not the fact that he's crazy. It's the fact that he wanted to do something. It came from the place of love of family. And, they're not accepting him. So that's the irony. And I don't think it's sad that they won't learn. They just wanted to hear what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Which is go gay Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, and we saw this in other episodes, they wanted him for the message or whatever it is. And it wasn't really about him going to prison. It was more of the impact that could have. So they ultimately didn't have his back.
He was just like a little,
poster child.
Yeah. He was just being moved around the game board just for their needs. And I don't think any of us were shocked that he was off his meds, right?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I was
but
shocked he admitted it, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why were you shocked?
Because as much as he was butting heads with Fiona, I just didn't know that he'd be okay just telling the whole world that he was off his meds.
Do you think that he actually is off his meds, or that he just said that to, get that bargain, that plea bargain? Because I feel like in past seasons he's been so up and down, and he was still in this season, but there's something that was very just clear about him today, where I could see them
maybe he's back on them
playing
today.
into,
I think he was definitely off the meds when all this was going on in the news.
But today, in this episode, he was clear-minded and was on them, you think?
I think he was clear-minded
it
today.
felt very clear.
Yeah,
and he had the wherewithal to come back to his senses and not run away. I think he's definitely in a better place. That's why he's able to admit this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur. I think he was definitely off his meds, and he's, to me, I don't, where he really wants to strive for truth. I think the one thing that he's been about and that's been missing from his life is this honesty.
Yeah.
And so in this case, the world has to accept him as he is.
Yeah.
And in a sense, he has to accept him the way he is and no longer lie to the world. So that's my perspective on it.
Do we want the brunette hair to stay?
No.
No one liked it.
Yeah, that was such a good family moment, too, because
Yeah.
that's so something that would happen.
Yeah.
I hate your hair.
All right. Well, that does it about for our coverage of this actual episode. If you have thoughts and opinions that are in accordance with what we think, or slightly vary, or you want to expand upon them, whatever it is, write in the comments section below. Let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll give our Twitter handles at the end too, so you can interact with us more directly. But without further ado, let us get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so we've kind of highlighted a couple of guest stars already from this episode and these past episodes, but coming up in the rest of season 9, we've got Jess Gabor from The Twin, Luis Guzman from Code Black, and Bob Saget, now known for Fuller House.
I know, isn't that crazy? No, it's still Full House. That's where we know him from. Come on.
So we can look forward to them as what? I'm not entirely sure, but we will find out, will we not?
That's very exciting. Bob Saget was really known. He's actually, a lot of people don't know this because he was on Full House and has this family image, but he has a very dirty humor. And there are so many behind the scenes interviews where people talk about how when the kids would leave and they would have the late night shoots, he was just, very inappropriate in a lot of so I'm really excited. I think he's going to fit with this show really, really well.
Well, he has stand-up shows,
Oh,
too.
God, it's so dirty. Yeah.
Love it. Love the dirty. All right, then there's a couple of articles that I've been reading, whether it's from EW, AV Club, or Chicago Tribune. A lot of kind of people are criticizing this season for just meandering along rather than really having a tight storyline. And so I wanted to kind of get your perspective on that, because it seems like fan-wise, from the comments I'm reading, people are at least having fun with this season. Maybe it's not 100% what they wanted, but critically, I don't know if it's hitting. So why the dichotomy?
I enjoy it more than last season because I wasn't a fan of last season really at all. But I definitely do agree with the fact that it is a little bit all over the place, in the sense that I'm not so dedicated to what's happening to one person. And I think that just comes with maybe their storyline not feeling super strong. So yeah, I'm still not at 100% with this show like I was a few seasons back.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely a number one fan, but that might be from past seasons, just that attachment that grows from those seasons.
Yeah.
I think this season is way stronger than last season, and there's certain storylines that I think that we are jumping. We're kind of like onto the next in each episode, but less so. I think this is something that we saw a lot in the previous season, where it was like a storyline could only live for like an episode or two, and I wanted to see that longevity, and we're seeing bits and pieces. So I'm kind of happy still.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. For me, last season was my least favorite, but I felt like this one has started out strong, and I've enjoyed it. I think there's been a lot of laughs. There's been a lot of different, things I like. I would like to see. We don't have that big moment yet, or that big
that big cry.
Something, but we're early.
We were talking about things feeling redundant. It could be that we've just feel like it's different things, but we feel like we've seen them before.
Yeah.
Well,
Excuse me.
We kind of reported on something a few weeks ago, and I want to backtrack now. It's a little bit of a spoiler because it happens for next episode. But we reported that Courtney Cox kind of interrupted shooting of Shameless because she was a fan. Well, thanks to the previews of tonight, she is actually on Shameless for next episode. And apparently she plays an alcoholic who needs Lip's help to not booze.
Which I'm so excited for this new business endeavor. This is the best thing Lip could do for himself.
Me too, and I think those two are going to have a really fun dynamic. I am a little bit worried that he's going to try to have sex with her, though, because she's hot, so...
Yeah. I think she's going to try
I
having sex
wouldn't mind
with him.
He's single.
Or the other way around.
I wouldn't mind that storyline.
She's definitely going to use her sexual attributes to try to make him not, allow her to drink or something.
Right.
But we'll talk about that in predictions. Sorry, Phil.
Okay. All right.
That's my prediction.
That's our news and gossip for this week. Now we will be getting into some fun trivia that we will share with you. So this comes from Screen Rant. It's 25 crazy things about Shameless that you probably didn't know. I won't read all of them. The article is there available to you, but I'm going to highlight a couple of them. So number 25, it was almost set in a trailer park. Number 24, and by the way, I won't dive into everything. Like I said, it's on ScreenRant.com, so look it up and you can get the full little details. Emmy Rossum wasn't allowed to audition. Interesting.
What does that mean? She just got the part right
Well,
away?
no, it was actually really interesting. They thought that she was too glamorous and too put together because of her role in the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh.
And she did some Disney before that.
Yeah, that they just didn't think that she could be down and dirty enough to do this, so she put together her own self-tape and said F you and sent it in, and right after they watched it, they were like, yeah, you gotta bring her in. It's pretty cool.
I love stories
Good
like
for her.
that.
Me too.
You can visit the Real Gallagher home for a price. So it is in Chicago. You go there and you can actually visit it.
Field trip.
Yes. Now, this would have been interesting. Woody Harrelson was the first choice for Frank, which I think Woody Harrelson is a fantastic actor. I don't know if I would have.
What has he been in?
Hunger Games. What hasn't it been? Zombieland.
White men can jump. Yeah.
Last year, 3 Billboards.
Yeah, outside of Ebbing,
I mean, can we just name all the movies he hasn't been in?
Yeah, right.
Because that'll be a lot faster.
Yeah, I think he would have been good. It just
I
would have
do
been,
too.
it would have been totally different, you know. But oh god,
He
William
would
H
have been
Macy's
a-
incredible.
He would have been a great crazy uncle.
Yeah, I could see him still. Yeah, totally playing a little
Absolutely.
guest.
Jimmy/Steve was never supposed to come back, which I can buy into. And there have been 5 different Liams, so we've kind of highlighted this throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
You know, his age got to kind of. Speaking of things that were never supposed to happen, Mickey was only supposed to be in a few episodes, but your love of Mickey kept him on way longer.
That one I knew.
All right, so there's plenty of more. Like I said, screenrant.com, 25 crazy things you didn't know about Shameless. All right, let's get into some predictions for next episode.
Your AfterBuzz
Everyone has one
TV
line, 'cause-
predictions.
We're running short on time.
All right, well,
Yeah,
Who wants to-
my prediction already happened. I think Courtney Cox and Lip are going to, have some type of sexual relationship, or she's going to try to use her, sexuality to lure him in.
all right.
I think that Fiona and Ford are going to take another step into their relationship. They're going to solidify that even more.
May not be for next episode, but somewhere down the line, Lip is going to get in a serious accident, or something dark is going to happen to him because of his need for this adrenaline.
His
fix.
need for speed.
Yep.
Interesting, yeah. I think I'm very curious to see what happens with Ian moving forward, so that is something that I'm interested in, especially with how now the movement deals with it, which shouldn't really be up to them, but I'm curious to see if they find enlightenment or not. All right, well that about does it for us. Thank you as always for tuning in and sticking with us and listening to our thoughts. We appreciate your thoughts, so as mentioned, comment in the comments section. We truly, truly appreciate it. For more direct interactions, you can, of course, interact with us on social media.
You can follow me at JJ Jurgens.
You can follow me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet.
And I'm everywhere at Hayley Clover.
And I'm at Phil Svitek, and the network, of course, is at AfterBuzz TV. You can tweet them as well, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Thank you as always. We'll see you next time for another Shameless After Show.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.